All right, everybody, we are here with another segment and another professional. We have Matt Warzel. Did I say it right, Matt?
You did, yes.
All right. Tell everybody who you are and what it is that you do.
How you doing, everyone? I'm Matt Warzel. I'm the president of MJW Careers. We're a full cycle resume writing, career coaching firm. Pretty much focused on offering solutions for our clients. Not so much of a word processing house, but more of a complete total package. And our goal right now, put people into a position to get them more interviews and better interviews and quicker lead times. So between interviews. So that's my goal. And essentially today I would like to speak about resume writing. I know everyone, as soon as they either become made redundant or possibly have a career change inkling, they'll tend to start with the resume. It's kind of your marketing tool, and it should be considered a marketing tool. Remember that. That's important. This is not just a piece of paper that details what you've been doing. That's an application. The resume should be a message built specifically around you, customized, not some MS Word template you can find online. You need this thing to be built so it gets people to want to bring you in the interview room. And what I'm going to do is just touch base on the big points of a resume, the main areas you need to focus on, and hopefully you'll get something out of this to make your resume even better. First thing is templates. A lot of people ask about, should they do functional, combinational, chronological, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones now that are, kind of being creatively made and developed, but the majority of folks will have a chronological because it's easiest to understand. It aligns perfectly with your experience in terms of your progression, and hiring managers frankly just understand it the most. Now, having said that, there are opportunities for a functional or perhaps a combination, which is just the two combined, that you might want to use those types of formats. Now, in this case, and I don't want to go overboard because there's so many different intricacies that make up the idea of how and which one to use. But I prefer to use a functional if you have gaps in your resume. If you're targeting a new job, sometimes where you're going in as an early career candidate and you've got all this plethora of experience you but might not relate, but we can find transferable skills. Remember, everything can transfer somehow to any sort of industry. Essentially, the functional you might not want to start with. If you can really try to build a chronological, even better. Now, having said that, the goal of the resume is to show that you offer a value to the hiring manager. It's not to summarize what you've been doing. It's what value you offer the hiring manager and how you're going to fit into that role. And essentially, and you'll hear this from any resume expert that kind of knows and has been doing this a while, is we're in the days of accomplishments-based formulas when you're talking resumes, when you're talking about sentence structure. You want it to show that you are an expert at what you're doing, and look at all the neat little accolades and accomplishments you've actually ended up doing for the company. And moreover, look at some of these metrics. Look at this percentage. Look at the sales number, this amount of volume. That is going to speak more in terms and align with the hiring manager's expectations these days, because we're in the world of, can you make us money? Can you make us money, or are you losing money for the company? If you're losing money for the company, you're not going to be there very long. So it's very specific that going into this as a business-minded person, no matter what the job is, even if you're in science, someone's got to give you a budget to go and do things. So you have to think in terms of a business professional, even if it's not what you do. When you're setting up your resume, make it so it markets you and your abilities. With that said, the structure, I won't try to go too much in depth on this call because I want to do kind of an overview, but I'm going to the structure of each of the segments of the resume. So first would be your contact information. And I don't want to over-explain things, so I might sound quick and out of here already in some of this information I say, but it's because I don't need to beat a dead horse and keep telling you why I think this. Name on top. Under it, my best feeling is you could put city and state if you are in the area you're looking for work in, or if you have a spot you want to go to. Maybe you want to move to LA. You could put, instead of city and state, you could put relocating to Los Angeles, CA. That's it. If you are open to wherever in the world, if you maybe are not sure where you want to be and you're open to kind of seeing what else is out there, just drop the city and state. It's not going to be a deal breaker. Phone, email, LinkedIn profile. I also add a portfolio link at the top if you're someone who is in the world that needs a portfolio, like a graphic designer, maybe a content writer. Under that, a nice summary. Summary is not the objective. However, I do weave an objective into the final statement of the summary. My summary's 3 sentences long. Who you are, and that's in terms of your experience and career focus. Maybe you're a results-oriented resume writer with over 15 years of cultivating client relations and ensuring maximum ROI, or whatever. But I'm a resume writer who's been doing it a while. Second sentence, what can you achieve? Well, I'm ability to place 1,100 people in the roles in the past year because of strategic planning or whatever. Give them a real big wow on your next sentence. And then finally hone it in with, hey, I'm a good team builder and I'm looking for this type of role. That's it. And that's kind of your last sentence. You could say results focused, and I use soft skills, always like that, to start off the sentence. Results focused, pragmatic, efficiency minded, whatever builds you as your character. Don't make them up for the sake of it. What is your good soft skills? And get those in there, flesh them into the summary. Only spot you flesh in any sort of soft skill, by the way. But your third sentence is results focused resume writer seeking to leverage background into a resume management role for a progressive organization. I mean, that's something I just spewed out, but this is kind of how we think. It's got to be professional and set the tone. So that's your summary, very important. After that, I do skills. These are your buzzwords. These are those applicant tracking system friendly words. Now, you hear about applicant tracking systems. It's not some unknown entity. Just know this. All it is software that takes resumes from the world and puts them in to a little database for the recruiters to access later. Problem is, when they go to access it later, instead of just the 5 resumes, now there's 5,000 resumes. Uh-oh. What do? They use keywords. They go find you again, because now they're like, where did I put Jan at? She was so good for this role. They use keywords. So make sure you're getting relevant keywords. Where to find them? 1, job description itself. People that are hiring managers that build their job descriptions, or in HR, they're using words that relate to the function of the job they're going to be in. So it's important to look at the job descriptions, and also LinkedIn at the very bottom under endorsements, they call them on LinkedIn. That's a good spot too for kind of a generalized area of what are some buzzwords that relate to the different industries and roles. LinkedIn's kind of doing a good job trying to standardize some of these, because in the job hunting world and resume world, sometimes a title is different across different segments. So you got to try to find some of these buzzwords that are going to be used to find you. Get them on there. Technical talk. Maybe you're a graphic designer who needs to have Adobe Creative Suite. Put Adobe Creative Suite on your resume. So technical speak or business type, I don't want to say business, but buzzwords that relate to your industry. So kind of important verbiage that needs to be on there so you're found. Next under that is going to be accomplishments. These are your wow statements. Remember, the accomplishments can be interchangeable throughout whatever history you're bringing. So you can use a line from 1995 when you worked at IBM under your accomplishments section without having to necessarily go and talk about 1995 IBM. They don't care about 1995 IBM. You should not be emphasizing 1995 IBM because it's irrelevant. They only care about the last 10 years of your work. I don't care how much you want to preach to me why you were so good at this in 1978. They want to know if you're good in it 2020. So remember, pull some real good juicers you might have and put them in this accomplishments section, and then forget about that job. Get it off the resume. If you are absolutely mandating that you need IBM on there, put it under a previous work history section underneath your experience that just lists title, company, location, maybe dates. Sometimes I drop those too, and I have a way of organizing it so it reduces the red flags. Again, this is why I offer resume writing services, because there's a lot of techniques to this stuff. But this is just one real quick advice for you, though. Keep it relevant and keep those accomplishments really big wow statements. Again, going back to those quantifiers, get those into there if you can. Anything that relates to the job descriptions, top 2, 3, 4 things that they say you have to be able to do, weave those into that accomplishment statements. Don't copy and paste them, but make them your own. If you need to have someone who supervises and trains teams, have a line talking about how you supervised over 200 people and trained over 50 people, built a training program, delegated tasks, scheduled manpower, ensured completion of projects, monitored operational workflow, ensured that you had staffing levels where they need to be. Make it known that you are a manager, because that's what they want. And don't be redundant. Don't talk about scheduling here, scheduling here, scheduling here, one and done is fine with that. Now, with the accomplishments also, if you're a career changer, this is where you want your big transferable statements at. This is where you're going to go, hey, even though I've been a teacher and under my experience, it shows like 20 years of teaching, now I want to be a corporate learning and development specialist. So instead of trying to weave in corporate L&D stuff under your teaching, which isn't going to work because it's not what you were really doing, let's weave those into your accomplishments, right? Let's weave in all those transferable things, building training programs. Well, you built lesson plans, so it's kind of, you kind of try to find these little relatable things, put those under your accomplishments. So then your experience section, albeit might be shorter because you're a teacher trying to go into corporate. So don't drag on about all these syllabus planning stuff. Just want it done again. But it might shorten the experience, but now the accomplishments has some real nice transferable stuff. That's for your career changers. Under that is the experience. The meat and potatoes. This, as a recruiter in my past, this is where I went first. If the mandate was someone who's been doing production management for over 5 years, I used to do manufacturing recruiting at one point. I would go to the experience. Is this guy doing or girl doing production management, or are they doing business analyst stuff and now they want to go into production management? So, I know my hiring manager only wants someone who's been doing it. So I'm sorry, can't use this candidate for this job, but maybe a different one. I'll hold on to them. So remember, this is your meat and potatoes. This is where you gotta be showing them your value, your accomplishments-based sentences. You didn't just make copies. You negotiated vendor rates to reduce service costs and improve the copy machine equipment. If you did like that, or you didn't just, build relations with the clients, you drove profitability because you cultivated over 150 relationships for FY19 that realized over $3 million in revenue. So these are the things you got to be real specific about. You are responsible for metrics. You just got to find them. Your manager, whoever they are making you responsible for, try to dig in and figure out what kind of numbers can you pull from that. If you don't use numbers, and that's fine, because sometimes confidentiality, maybe you are in an industry where you just have zero idea where those KPIs can come from, that's fine. Quantify your sentences still, okay? Each sentence of your experience should start off with a solid word. I still love those action verbs because it drives the emphasis, and drives is a good one, drove revenue gains. So start off with a solid action verb. Make it a quantify without using metrics. And this is not that hard. Think about it like this. Your task can be, if you're driving and you're making sure that you're getting your deliverables on time, your quantifier can be sustained workflow because you're making deliverables on time. Minimized process gaps because I had zero issues during my deliveries. Did you save money? Did you build money and revenue for the company? Did you reduce waste? Did you implement a process improvement? Did you streamline efficiency? These are all what I call business quantifiers. Again, I don't want to say business in a sense of the business world, but quantifiers. If you're doing research in a lab, you're still getting projects done on time. This is still a good thing. This is somewhere you can quantify that stuff. Again, if you're hiring an expert to do your resume, this is what they should be doing for you, is figuring out what quantifiers relate to your job and what would look really good for that targeted role. Okay, so that's the experience. Again, PAR is kind of my go-to formula for that. There's a couple of other out there, CAR, but essentially these formulas: PAR, problem, action, result. What was the problem? What did you do to fix it? And what was the result? Those are the way you should structure your sentences because they give you the most wow. Hey, look at this. We had to save a fledgling client. They were getting upset at us. Well, I rebuilt our relations program and was able to salvage 3 clients that end up getting us an extra $80,000 that year. get that into a sentence. Take this narrative that you've done, this wonderful project narrative that might be about this big on your paper, and get it down to one line. That's what you pay a resume writer for. We take these conceptual ideas, boil them down into one line that's really impactful. Now, your final thing after you experience, leave it at the bottom unless you're entry level, which is within 3 years, maybe 2 years of the market. If you're under 2 years in the market, you can put the education above the experience or accomplishments. That's fine. I've seen that for entry level. Or if you're a career changer and all you have is your academia that you've been doing towards this new career, that I've seen where it's above. Other than that, though, put the education at the bottom. Education should be one line: Bachelor of Science, University of Richland. Whatever. Date, take the date off unless you're entry level. Again, if you're seasoned or even mid-career, a couple years, 3, 4, 5 years in, start getting rid of some of the irrelevant things, i.e. your graduation date. With the education section, this is where you want to put your certification as well as affiliation. If you got a certification, you're a project management professional, PMP, that's where you want to put that. If you're affiliation, if you're a member of the Project Management Institute, that's where you put that. If you're a volunteer for the United Way, you would put volunteer, United Way. So this is your section for all that stuff, which also reminds me, if you are a PMP or someone who got a really good credential, get that at the name, at your moniker. So that way they see right away, hey, this is a PMP I'm working with and I need a PMP for this job. Now I'm intrigued to get to their experience and their good stuff to see if they're a viable candidate. So it's very important that you take this serious. Again, I want to just kind of whip through this. I hope I wasn't too fast, but these are kind of my just quick offering advice about how to build your resume. And this is the old adage, you don't have a mechanic, you don't go and fix your car if you're not a mechanic. I'll still use it to this day because it does make sense. If you're not a writer or even a resume writer at that, I've done resumes for screenwriters and stuff. So if you're not structured to build a resume and think in that terms, get someone to do it. I charge $250 and you get a free cover letter with mine. And that's, if you're making, $60,000 a year, what's $250 to get you a resume that might get you a $80,000 a year job? So again, it's the payoff. Life is a series of trade-offs. So the trade-off might be you instead of buying beer for the month, maybe you get a better resume. So, or whatever your vice or whatever you like to spend money on, just think in terms of relevancy in your life. And especially right now, trying to prioritize spending and that kind of in the situation we're in. So I'll leave it with this. Your competition, they're getting a good resume together.
Absolutely. And I hope everyone understands the importance of everything that you just said. I have 3 pages of notes, and I definitely appreciate everything that you said because I literally just had mine redone, and now I'm thinking of all the things that I kept pushing, saying, no, but remember when I did this back in 2006 and all of that, and now I have to go back and humble myself and realize that it's ancient and it's dinosaur age and I need to redo it again. So thank you, because but I hope everybody understands it's a growth process and it's something that we all need to do and we all need to invest in. And so definitely, guys, I'm going to provide a download that you have that I've already started reviewing that I still need to go through because you have a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of information that pertains to everyone.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, Anika, thanks for putting this on. And excited to see the audience again whenever we want to do this. I'm always on board. So
I'll stay tuned because we got more to come. So again, thank you very much for all that you do, and everybody else. You guys look for the downloads, look for the bonuses, and check out Matt and his agency. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. See you, everybody.